At 75%, political independence say a third party is needed. 58% of Republicans do, 46% of Democrats do. Poll question then, would you support a third-party candidate, or at least a candidate not Republican or Democrat? You could vote, I would support a third-party candidate, or it doesn't have to be an official third party, but you'd support any candidate not Republican or Democrat. You could vote, I will support the Democratic candidate, or I will support the Republican candidate, or I'm not sure. But please take time to vote. Head to WSGW.com, scroll down the homepage, and find the poll box.
The Morning Team, 5:30 to 9 on WSGW.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, the Art Lewis Show. We're going to move over now and talk about a different topic. We're going to talk about one that has certainly impact on us in our area and the entire state and the country, for that matter. It's the UAW strike and maybe some supply chain issues that go with it. And with us to do that, we have Professor Kevin McCormack. He's an associate professor of operations and supply chain issues at Northwood University. Professor McCormack, good morning to you.
Morning, Art.
Thanks for joining us today, and thanks for waiting too. I appreciate it. UAW strike now, and it's 40 some odd days or something like that?
At least.
How much impact, because of the way they're doing it, rather than going after one target, they've spread it around to what we still call the big three. How much of an impact has that had on the industry so far?
Well, since the big three use mainly the same supply chain, so suppliers have had orders delayed or canceled, and then they rotate to the next one, and other orders are delayed and canceled. So it's about a 30% gum up, let's call it, of the supply chain. So people are laid off, invoices aren't sent, parts aren't delivered, payments aren't made. So there's a big cash flow issue as well in the supply chain. As you mentioned, it's a major impact to the Michigan, Ohio, Indiana area here. And it's, once we're just getting recovered from the pandemic, and then this comes along. So, suppliers are just getting the snot beat out of them. Let's put it that way.
This is a theoretical question, but I've wondered this for a while now, given the nature of this strike and the way it was divided up among the three. How long before the auto industry itself, Ford, General Motors, Stellantis, say enough's enough and they just shut down, they lock everybody out and say, well, rather than play an uncertain game, we just won't play at all?
Well, that's hard to say. They're getting hit with the EV mandates and the EV investments, major billions of dollars of investments for a product that doesn't have any demand yet. So, you're getting hit with that, and now you're getting hit with the strike and labor costs going up 20% or more. Boy, how much can you take? I don't know. Honda, Mercedes, Kia, people like that have been eating their lunch. They're going to get even worse, I guess. So your guess is as good as mine.
The supply chains that supply Ford, General Motors, Stellantis, are they the same ones that supply Toyota, Honda, Nissan, all those?
A little bit. There is some crossover, but Honda, Mercedes, Toyota, they've got their favored few. They have more single source suppliers. They bring parts in from overseas. So no, there's not a direct duplication like there is between GM, Ford, Chrysler.
Does all of this lead to either losing supply chain companies or mergers in the supply chain industry because of the economy of scale?
Well, considering the pandemic about destroyed 30 or 40% of the companies, and they were just getting up from their knees. Wow, it's going to cause, there was a large consolidation movement. It's going to get even more. And the labor strife is just going to be passed down. If the lead workers, for example, in GM get a 20% increase, how do you think that impacts the suppliers that are making the parts? It's going to just roll right down.
20 seems minimum because they've rejected 20.
I'm being optimistic.
I'm guessing 25, but what do I know? I'm just guessing.
It's going to have an impact, a long-term impact for the entire automotive industry, as well as the economy. I mean, car prices have to go up, but they've already gone up 15 to 20%. They're going to go up even more. So how many people can afford a $50,000, Chevy?
Yeah, not only that, try and go buy a pre-owned one. Those
Yeah.
prices have gone up too.
Yeah.
They don't rely on the supply chain,
Yeah.
except for parts repairs. They do in a way because obviously service centers have to have parts.
Well, the aftermarket is getting hit as well for labor cost, and people are anticipating the settlement of the strike, 25%. So people that work in the aftermarket are going to go the same way.
I'm next week. I'm going to be at the SEMA show in Las Vegas, and I can't wait to talk to some of those folks about what this means to the aftermarket.
Yeah, don't get too depressed. The new sphere at Vegas will boost your mood. But you're right; it's going to be a hell of a show. It's going to be interesting.
So, as an educational tool for people that maybe don't understand how parts work and get to the factories and everything, describe supply chain.
Well, the supply chain goes, what they say, from dirt to dust. So when you dig something up to, let's say, an ore to make steel, which then turns into frames and chassis, which then turns into cars, which then turns into junk cars, which then get recycled into dust. All of that is the supply chain. And as well as what you buy at the store has got to come from somewhere. Cows they don't come deliver the milk themselves. So somebody's got to milk them. Somebody's got to pasteurize. Somebody's got to bottle. I don't think they use bottles much anymore, but yeah, plastic bottles. It is so intrusive, or we're so dependent on everything coming through a supply chain that, and I think people realize that in the pandemic, that if you don't have a supply chain, you don't have anything.
Well, we quickly found out how dependent we are on foreign sources during the pandemic, didn't we?
Yeah, and there's been a big swing the last 2.5 years to onshore, to reshore, whatever word you want to use, to decouple from China. A big push to go into Vietnam and India and Mexico, and they're not finding that as easy as they thought. Apple, for example, has been trying to move to Vietnam and India for several years and hasn't been able to do it, but maybe 10-15%. So dependency on China is going to be around for quite a while.
My idea of reshore is to build it in the United States, but
yeah,
doesn't look like it's happening all that much. Some is happening. There is some movement, but not nearly what it used to be.
The company American Giant took over an old textile factory in North Carolina and is making blue jeans and T-shirts. I got a pair of their blue jeans on right now. So cotton raised in America, factory in America, machines, workers, all of that. It's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah. Hang on, I got to take a break and we'll come back. We're talking to Professor Kevin McCormack from Northwood University. We'll be back with more.
The unmistakable sound and unforgettable music. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort invites you to Christmas Jazz with Kenny G. Sunday, December 10th at 6 p.m. Tickets start at $34. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Kenny G. Beautiful music for the most beautiful of seasons. Sunday, December 10th. Showtime 6 p.m. at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent. Together. Walgreens.
Restrictions apply. For details, see walgreens.com/pharmacy.
Identity theft shows no signs of slowing down. In fact, more than $29 billion were stolen last year alone. That's a criminal success story and a wake-up call for everyone else. It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity. LifeLock makes it easy to help protect yourself if you become a victim A dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. Join now and save up to 25% your first year with my name, Clay, as your promo code at LifeLock.com, promo code Clay.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair's gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
There's a whole lot of savings going on now at Staples. During Staples Sit-a-thon, you can save up to $150 on select office and desk chairs. And when you buy a chair, you save 25% on desks, storage solutions, and office accessories. Plus, your local Staples now accepts Amazon returns. And when you return an Amazon order at Staples, you receive a coupon for $10 off your next $30 Staples purchase. Now is definitely the time to save at Staples. Chair offer ends 10/28. In-store only. Exclusions apply on Amazon offer.
Jesse Kelly here. Do you feel protected? My personal protection plan is owning gold. The Oxford Gold Group helps you buy gold to have on hand or convert it into your 401k. If things get weird, I have gold on hand. I like that. You can buy coins or convert part of your 401k with the Oxford Gold Group. It's easy and safe. 833-995-GOLD. That's 833-995-GOLD. 833-995-GOLD.
I'm Dr. Stork. Eggs are a staple in our diets, and there's only one egg with more delicious farm fresh taste plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. With more vitamins, including 6 times more vitamin D and 10 times more vitamin E, plus 25% less saturated fat than ordinary eggs. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, and organic. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hello, Michigan. I'm John Gonzalez.
And I'm Amy Sherman. We've got big news.
We're back! And you can join us Sundays at 1 p.m. as we once again go behind the mitten.
We'll take you to every corner of the state, sharing the stories that make Michigan great.
Find a hidden gem or a new favorite spot that might be located right in your hometown.
We'll go above the bridge and taste our way across the state.
Join us Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on 100.5 and 790 News Radio, WSGW.
You are with WSGW in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
Back with you on the Art Lewis Show, talking to Professor Kevin McCormack. He is an associate professor of operations and supply chain management at Northwood University. And Professor, I have to ask, it seems to me anyway, many of the supply chain companies and supply chain vendors, they're not represented by the UAW, are they?
They are not.
So their suffering is simply because of demand as this strike takes hold and there's less demand for the product.
Well, they're in a kind of a just-in-time supply chain. It's a very lean supply chain with frequent shipments and small quantities. So when something gets shut down or clogged up, as the pandemic showed, it ripples through the whole chain. So, they're not fat, dumb, and happy. They're thin, lean, and the interest rate has been killing them, for example. And now this clog up in demand, and then the increase in labor costs. So it's kind of a three-way mess.
How, in terms of supply chain, how are they governed, if you will? Are there laws that govern supply chain or not?
Well, there's contract law, of course. They have contracts that go up the chain. And most of them are private companies in the supply chain, privately held, many family-owned companies.
A lot of them are small business, aren't they?
Yeah, most of them. I'd say 80% of them are small, privately held companies. It depends on what country you talk about. Germany, for example, is like 95% small family-owned companies. America is more like 80%. But, family-owned companies are run differently than publicly traded companies. They use their own cash. They manage cash flow. They go negative without the world coming to an end. So, they may be losing, 10% cash on their investment right now, and nobody's going to know it until it crashes.
Yeah. How has the push for EVs changed the supply chain industry? I knew you were waiting for that. I mean,
well, mandated demand never works, firstly. And they're building, the automotive suppliers are building to mandated demand, and the demand involves all different technology than the gas-powered vehicles. Suspension is different, the engine is different, obviously, and everything's different except maybe the body. And there's not much to the body except injected molded plastic and light materials, things like that. It's a dramatic change. Just like when you went from the propeller airplane to the jet, it couldn't be more of a change. So it's a shock, and it's causing massive losses. And I think the big three and the others are starting to go, wait a minute, this is not going to work out.
I've offered up an analogy, and I'm not sure how accurate it is, so I'll get your reaction to it. I look at EVs today as the gas-powered auto was at the turn of the 20th century. It was a new device. We didn't have the roads. We didn't have the gas stations. We didn't have the infrastructure. It all came along over a long period of time. And I kind of think in some ways that's where the EV industry is today. Am I wrong?
Well, in one respect, you're right. The other respect is, I remember my dad telling me stories of, as he grew up in the late 20s and 30s, they used to carry gas cans in the back of the car on their long trips so they could, pull it out and gas up. You don't carry an extra battery on an EV.
No, but you can have a hybrid.
Yeah, and that's it. The dealers, and we have a strong dealer network here at Northwood.
Yeah,
they're selling hybrids before they sell an EV. That's what people are saying. Okay, I'll go electric. I'll help the environment, but I want this gas powered as a backup. And all the automotive companies are selling hybrids like mad, and not EVs. And it's not new technology. EVs are not new technology.
You mentioned to help the environment and all that, but there's a lot of criticism of the EV industry and the way they have to mine the various minerals used in the batteries.
Rightly so. Yeah, it is not. It's an environmental exhaust reduction, okay, for car exhaust.
Right.
But in total, it's not a reduction in environmental impact. It actually is more. But it's part of the climate catastrophe buzz that's out there. Well, I'm just going to do my part, and if it has no impact, I just feel good about it. So
Yeah.
I don't, and I hate to be pessimistic. This has been a very pessimistic discussion, but I don't think EVs are going to sell anywhere near what they're being projected to sell.
All right, hang on for one more segment. We'll be back to close out with Professor Kevin McCormack from Northwood University, as we talk about operations and supply chain management with him, and that is what he teaches at Northwood.
You have a family doctor. Do you have a family plumber? When you have a plumbing, heating, or cooling problem happen in your home or business, you need to be able to call a professional that you can rely on and trust to make the repair or equipment replacement. Reamer Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning has been the professional homeowners and businesses trust for 65 years. Whether you're looking for an emergency water heater replacement or planning a new heating system installation, you can trust Reamer Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning to provide quality service and installation. Reamer has the equipment to fit every budget, experienced estimators, and state licensed technicians to install. Trust a professional to do the job right. Call Reamer Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Visit them on the web at reamerplumbing.com.
Any way you spell it, Reamer means quality.
Your day starts before the sun rises. Once your boots hit the ground, you head out to a field, a barn, or a tractor. As stewards of the land, you know anything worth doing is worth doing right. At Farm Bureau Insurance, we've always believed in and practiced this same philosophy. From heaving bales and weaning calves to spring seeding and fall harvests, it's all about an honest day's work. Knowing your insurance provider is rooted in Michigan offers comfort. At Farm Bureau Insurance, the experience you get with our local trusted advisors is different. From financial security to a helping hand, Farm Bureau understands the experience matters. Find an agent who can protect what matters to you.
Find your coverage in Vassar, Millington, and Mayville. Call Denny Miller at 989-823-8493.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Tom Sullivan, weeknights at 7 on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
Back with
It's
you on
Mark
the Art
Lee
Lewis
and
Show.
Cap and Robbins, weekdays at noon.
And we are talking to Professor Kevin McCormack. He is an Associate Professor of Operations and Supply Chain Management at Northwood University. I have to ask, Professor, are we finding young people still wanting to go into the auto industry and supply chain and things of that nature?
Well, for supply chain, absolutely. For automotive, I could say, again, absolutely. We're an automotive-centric university here, and we deal with auto dealers and suppliers and the big three. And there's an automotive culture, especially in Michigan. And it's a good living, a good business, and supply chain is just going through the roof. People are, pulling down $70,000 salaries right out of school with, several internships in there, to make them a little bit capable, but it's hot anywhere in the world.
And is there one particular part of supply chain that's more prevalent than another?
I used to think so. I used to think manufacturing companies and stuff like that. But after the pandemic, everybody realized they needed supply chain management, and places like Aldi, for example, and Myers, retail stores, they needed, and they always did. Home Depot, Lowe's. Lowe's hired several of our people. Amazon, of course, is the supply chain. Hires many of our people.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because we spent a lot of time talking about the UAW and the auto industry. Supply chain is much, much bigger than the auto industry, isn't it?
Absolutely. Since everything needs a supply chain, it covers every industry, and the numbers are just kind of buried in the totals there.
Everything that moves, including the transportation that moves it.
And the fuel that powers it, and the food you eat, and keep going. And people never realize that the pharmaceuticals, of course, are problematic again right now. We have pharmaceutical shortages, and
That was the pandemic taught us how dependent we were on China for some of that stuff.
Yeah, and I don't think we've done a lot about it. It's still there. The dependence on Chinese pharmaceuticals is pretty scary, considering what's going on in the world right now.
Is it going to change? I mean, what's the future? If we look into the McCormack crystal ball 5-10 years down the road, what do you see for supply chain?
Well, there's not much more transportation technology improvement you can do. The maritime industry has invented tremendous ships to carry materials and stuff. So that's there. AI is not going to have that big of an impact, except on forecasting and management of information. And it's movement of physical goods is constrained by gravity and distance. So, I mean, how much are you going to do with that? I don't see much of it. You're going to get better. You're going to get more information. You're going to get more knowledge, and you're going to optimize it. But not much more than it is today.
Yeah, many would say that we in America are way behind in our rail transit and our rail networks. That's one area where we could see significant improvement.
Well, only in passenger rail. We are pretty good with freight rail, and that's dominated our rail system for many years. Yeah. And passenger rail is kind of forgotten.
Much to the bane of passenger rail.
Yeah, it's yeah. Don't ride the train. I lived in Europe for years, and still work in Paris occasionally, and the trains over there are fantastic. But we're never going to spend the money on infrastructure to have people, and we're a bigger country than Europe, so it's not going to. Passenger trains are not going to be a big thing here ever.
Not any bigger than they are. You may find spurts. I know they're going to build a line from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, for example. Brightline is that private company that's come along in Florida. Yeah, so you'll see them here and there, but that's it.
For the focused gamblers for Las Vegas.
There you go.
Yeah. Our freight rail system is a tremendous system. It's well run. It's efficient. It's
profitable.
Very profitable. They make great investments. They've kept the rails up. I mean, so I don't think we have anything to hang our head about our rail system, other than if you want to ride the rail from Washington to New York, good luck. But other than that.
Well, this Friday, I'm going to be doing just that from Ann Arbor to Los Angeles. So I'll let you know.
Oh, bring your lunch.
So
it's a beautiful trip, though. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, Professor, we thank you much. It's going to be interesting to watch this UAW strike and see where it ends up and how it impacts the industry.
It's not going to be favorable, except to the people receiving more money for their work. I mean, that's favorable, but the businesses are going to be impacted. Let's call it negatively. I mean, we're going to see it for the next several years.
But we're going to pay for it.
Yeah. I just bought my wife a Honda. I have to hold my head in shame living in the big three world here. But she's a Honda freak, and we paid $44,000 for a CRV, and You know, 10 years ago, we bought one for $21,000. So,
yeah. Well, listen, thank you for your time, and we'll have to do this again down the road. It was a pleasure chatting with you.
You too, Art. Take it easy.
Thank you. Bye-bye now. Professor Kevin McCormack from Northwood University. We thank him for his time this morning. Interesting topic, supply chain. We don't think about it, but boy, is it prevalent in our world. We'll be back to close out.
Along with me is attorney Jerry Wright. First off, Jerry, does having a joint or beneficiary account avoid probate?
Well, it can work, but the question I have for you is, if you were to pass away at your death